Hi, I have it up close again, obviously. I kind of felt like maybe I need to be all the way up close and then just talk like this. Maybe just get real close and just talk. I don't know. There was a couple things that I had been thinking about. One of them is there's a bunch of stuff about the disclosure. I was talking about that. A lot of stuff coming out about, oh, there's going to be disclosure. They're starting to say that there's aliens and stuff like that. And I bought this documentary today. I haven't watched it yet. So probably when I finish watching it, then I'll probably have to say something again. Last night, I started to say something again for the third time. And I was like, oh, no. I feel kind of like my phone has become Wilson. I'm on an island. And I got to talk to him about everything. But I would advise you, don't look that up. You don't want that energy in your phone. So, and, you know, you just, if you have that person's energy in your phone, you probably need to do like an exorcism on your phone. And don't ever go in the dark in any room and say that name 3 times. I think it'd be worse than the Candyman. Yeah, I think it'll probably end up being an urban legend. Never say that name, the TH name. But anyways, yeah, I felt like, oh my gosh, what is that? I'm getting to where I have to talk to my phone. I've got to talk to him all the time. And it is like, it's not that long. I mean, what have I been home for a week or something? Yeah, I think a week today. And it already feels like, oh God, I'm back in jail. It just feels so like, oh my gosh. Life is just so stagnant. And then you try and you go on, well, if you go on movies, you just, I don't know how you can watch things and not feel completely indoctrinated all the time. But, and then you go on YouTube, you know, you try and find other humans to connect with, like, see what they're saying, see what they're talking about. That's what, you know, woke me up to a lot of stuff, is seeing what people were talking about. But there's a lot of talk about the disclosure stuff. And there's a lot of talk about the devil shoes and what's up with that. And all of the, everything is always way more complex than what they put out there for us. So I don't know. I guess there's a lot of stuff going on. You know, because we're in the Chinese, the takeover. So, you know, they got their claws deep into America. We're trying to pry them open, but there's just so many people are just like oblivious, don't even know. But I guess there's, I don't know, a war being said because over there, you know, I mean, they're doing a lot of really bad things to people, especially there's certain words I don't even think you can even say them or you would just get flagged. But there's a certain, I would say maybe it's like a religious sect or something, but a certain group of people that are off of whatever they push mainstream beliefs, I guess. And they're killing them, they're enslaving them, all sorts of stuff. Well, if you're a corporation that disagrees, then, you know, they've got control over everything. They've got control over the media. They've got control over our politicians. They got control over everything. It takes people waking up and figuring it out. And those of us who already are awake are just like along for this slow ride. It's like riding on the back of a turtle's back in the desert with no food or water for hours and hours of daylight. No, it's relentless. It's just relentless. It just goes on and on. Never ever would have thought it would go this long. It's just so ridiculous. But, you know, people got to wake up however long it takes them. Yesterday, I did watch a movie. I love old movies, black and white movies. I used to watch them all the time. But this one, it was people. Well, there was one person who I knew who it was. There was another guy I recognized, but I don't know who he was. But the one guy who I knew who he was, I think he played a guy called Ironside. It was an attorney who was in a wheelchair, I think, when I was a kid. And he was older then. So this movie, he was really young. So, you know, I don't even know the year of this movie. It was pretty good though. It had like a good twist. And there was I guess he was a womanizer and he got himself murdered. But the one girl who had been there, who he got drunk, and then he starts, you know, just going for it. And the thing that I was like, the whole time, once he had her at the restaurant and he's just loading her with drinks, I was like, oh my gosh, you know, are they going to do like a date rape thing here? Like, this is a long time ago. And they're going to talk about this? This is weird. And so when they did do that, and then people were talking about it, you know, it was a completely different dialogue than nowadays. You know, there was a lot of, well, you know, she went over to his house at night. She had a drink with him. She knew what that meant. And, oh, there was more. But the attitude was very much, you know, it comes back on her. She should have been smarter. She should have. And I do think there is a component to that. I do think that if you want to be safe as a woman, you do have to really think about it. Am I going into a dangerous situation? You can't just think, oh, I'm just going to go into this and I'm going to just expect everyone's going to treat me the way I want to be treated. I can safely go get drunk in I mean, how many women have done it at a frat party? Well, girls. I don't know about women. I guess maybe there's some women. But, you know, younger female people who have not had tons of experience and go get drunk at a frat party. You know, how much of it is, you know, there's just certain times that women just can't go and think like, well, I'm going to go do this and I'm going to be safe. I watch a lot of Lifetime movies. You're not going to be safe. You know, the world's going to have to do a real abrupt turn. And we're in the process, but it's not going to be, you know, this summer, go get drunk at a party with a bunch of drunk people and just expect nobody's going to manhandle you. I think you could probably figure you need to be safe. I always told my kids, if you go to a party, you need to make sure that you go as a group of girls and you need to make sure you're watching out for each other. You can't just go to a party and all of you get drunk and just go your separate ways. You're all going to end up in somebody's video. And that stuff happens all the time. But in that movie, I was just like, oh, when it got to the part where he was going to do it, I was like, oh, please don't sexually assault her. Please have some integrity. But no, it didn't even have. I mean, this sexually assaulting women and getting them drunk has been going on for a long time. Because I bet you that movie had to be made like in the 30s, maybe the 40s. But that guy, he was so young in it. Maybe the 40s. I don't even remember. Like, I'm not a movie historian, so I don't even know, you know, when movies started talking, and because it was, I would guess, probably the 20s. But I don't know. Could have been before that. But I think before, it was just, you know, those movies like Charlie Chaplin and stuff, and then you go to the movie theater and they would play music and they would just have the words up there. And then when they started doing talkies, I swear, I think that was like around the 30s. But, oh my gosh, that was totally me. It's totally asleep. That's trying to have my thing a little too close, I guess. I move my legs. I'm kind of spaz. But there's always like, if I'm not talking, then I always think of all these things like, oh, I want to say this, I want to say that. And then once I start talking, it's like, what the fuck was I going to talk about? What was I going to say? There's a bunch of stuff.